business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
All right, I'm really excited about today. I want to thank, as always, Lisa Paley for helping us during our Miami Book Fair presentations. We do it for about a month before the book fair. When the book fair list came out, this was the book that I was really excited about. I want to thank Lisa Paley and the Miami Book Fair for bringing us together today with Herald Hughes. Harold's book is a kid's book about blockchain. And I got to tell you, the introduction of the book says it all. It's addressed to the parents of children. It's a children's book, but the introduction of the book is addressed to parents. And we're going to bring Harold on in just a second. And we're going to talk about why parents should read this book, not only to their kids, but for themselves. This really basically helps you understand all this stuff you've heard about blockchain technology. Before we get started, I want to thank, we've been on now for 14 years. I want to thank our sponsors for the last 12 plus, Warren Henry Automotive. Thank you so much to Larry and the rest of the team for making me a brand ambassador. I was there this weekend to get my fix of the Warren Henry Advantage. I got my car serviced with Maytel Stark. I love them all. They treated me like gold. It was wonderful. I was in and out of there real quickly, and they gave me a loaner so I could go visit my mom in the middle. Make sure to check out Warren Henry and our family up there at 151st and Biscayne, down in the Keys. South Dade, they've got their award-winning luxury Land Rover, Range Rover store, and of course in Gainesville, they sell Audis. Now, let's get to the portion of the show where we're going to talk about blockchain technology for kids. Mr. Mendoza, do your magic, please. There he is. Oh, hey, great to see you too, Harold. Now,
thank you.
I know you're coming to Miami in the next couple of days for a conference that's going to help with getting the Caribbean hooked in to do remote work here in the United States and around the world. But our topic today is blockchain.
Yep.
First of all, thank you for being a leader and helping me understand blockchain better. We're going to do a kid's book about blockchain. I'm actually going to make it like we're doing a reading because it's really important.
Yeah.
I think I've read it. It took all of 15 minutes.
Yep.
You know, I read Who Moved the Cheese. That took 20, you know.
I love Who Moved the Cheese. I read that every year. I read this one every couple of weeks to my kid.
This is tremendous. I think every parent should get this book, read it to their kids, put it on their shelf, write the date that they bought it, and then look back in 20 years and crack up. So let's start. I've never done it this way before.
I'm excited. I've never done this either. Let's do it.
I think it's going to be really cool, actually. Okay, so tell me about the intro. Why should a parent read this book to their kid? And better yet, why should they think about it for themselves as well?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll give a little background on me. You know, growing up in Columbia, South Carolina, I was the first person in my family to go to college. I ended up going to Clemson University, and a lot of my peers had laptops and computers in their homes in those, years getting ready for college. We didn't necessarily have that stuff. When we did have a computer, there was just one. It was dial-up. So I always thought about, how do we make sure that there's access to this information, access to this technology for the youngest generations. And so that was the number one reason, was just making sure that I was sharing it. And then from there, as a dad, it was always really important for me to make sure that my son, who at the time I think was going into first grade, would be able to tell people what dad did for work. You've got all these folks who are, their dad's a salesperson or they're a firefighter. And I was like, I need him to know how to explain blockchain to his buddies. And so that's why we decided to write the book. And so we knew we could cover not only 6-year-olds, but 6 to 60-year-olds is how I like to say it, because I needed to make sure that my mom could also understand it too. So I wanted to cover a broad range, and what makes it better than starting as a children's book.
I think it's amazing. Let's start with this. Okay, I agree with you. Blockchain is the future.
Yes. Why? The way I look at it is that it's fundamental. It's a technology that you build on top of, in the same way that we know that the cloud, which was the future at one point in time, is everywhere. Like, we understand that blockchain technology is going to enable a lot of different business applications, a lot of different entertainment applications. And so it's important for us to recognize not only what the technology does, but what the technology can do. And so it's absolutely the future, and it's fundamental.
I know the answer. It's because you're going to use it everywhere.
Exactly. There you go.
I love this. Okay. Nobody knows what blockchain is. Guess what? A lot of grown-ups don't know either.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
I would say 90% of the people that I do business with don't understand it yet.
Even the
I've
parent.
been working on it for 3 years.
Yes.
And it's definitely the future.
Even the grown-up who bought you that book may not know what it is, but by the end of it, we will know it all together.
Now, that's because we're going to use it to change the world.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Blockchain is what? It's a new and different way to store and keep data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when I'll have to say it, younger, I would create databases. But my databases was people, real estate transactions. Maybe it's a pipeline report, always on Excel, always unique to me, always my own design. What makes this different?
So for us, I wanted to make sure that there was an opportunity to explain. Let's first talk about databases. As you know, we talk about what databases are in the book, but then it's thinking about how you store things. So when I was coming up with the concepts with this, I talked to my son. I said, well, where do we store our dishes? Well, our dishes go in the cupboard. Well, where do we store our books? Our books go on the bookshelf. Where do you store your toys? Your toys go in a toy bin. So when you think about data, we're saying where data is stored. And then as you think about the future of databases, ultimately, there's a lot of information that our government agencies, our public service entities, some of our favorite businesses need to be able to share with one another, as well as us as consumers and regular folks, so that we can have not only safer information, better information, but also better experiences. And so that database thing is going to be really, really critical. And it's going to be probably, and we'll look back in a couple of years and people will say, oh, that's so obvious. Why is there a children's book on this? And so we're glad that the people who are getting it now are ahead of the curve and are helping us lead that way.
100%. Now, a lot of things that we say that we see in the world are manipulated, and there's deep fakes. I'm using all these terms I barely understand myself.
Yeah.
But the thing about using the blockchain to guard your database, I guess is the way you would say it, is that it's fair and transparent. I love this. This is fabulous. Fair and transparent.
Yes.
So what does that mean? And why do I care?
Yeah, well, it's funny. I was just doing a podcast yesterday about artificial intelligence and some of these computer generated images. And it's really, really good these days. And you've got deep fakes, as you talked about, where it's, simulated. And so it says, well, how do we know that this thing is real? How do we know that the information I'm seeing across my screen is honest? And so being able to know what is actually there is going to be something that I think is going to separate us from having some really, really bad things happen in the media and saying like, oh, there's no way that's true, to us being able to say, oh, this is real and we need to act now. And so fair and transparent is really important, not only in business practices and us working together in a relationship that way. When you're talking about information, public safety, we need more fair and we need more transparency, especially as more of this technology takes off.
I agree with you. And remember, when I talked about database, I talked about personally contained databases in my computer and then, stored on the cloud. But this type of a database, it uses a completely different word. This database is decentralized. What does that mean? Oh, this is fabulous.
So an example that it didn't make it into the book, as I was trying to think about a way to keep it short, is thinking about when I was in college. I took a massive Psych 101 class that had hundreds of people in it. And so you can imagine if you're at the back of the class and the lecturer isn't doing a great job of projecting, you may hear things slightly different. And so in class in the early 2000s, I was writing my notes in one notebook, like literally a Mead notebook.
Right. I have boxes of them I finally threw out 40 years later.
Boxes of them. So Jim, today kids use Google Docs. They use these, like they're on the computer, they're typing all their notes, and they're doing shared Google Docs. So imagine you and 100 classmates are all typing notes in the same doc. I'm writing in blue, you're writing in red, Christina's writing in yellow, and you're able to type all this stuff. And so I say, type, the professor says 17%. And you say, oh no, it was 70%. And Christina says it was 70%. And Michael says it was 70%. Being able to decentralize that information and distribute it, now we're not only able to get consensus and truth. Oh, Herald was wrong. The actual answer was this, but also because it's not stored on my computer, it's stored everywhere else. if my computer dies or crashes or runs out of the battery, we don't lose all the information. That's probably the simplest way to put it. And
That's
so
great.
having decentralization allows us not only to make more people part of the collaborative process, but also make sure that we safeguard the information.
So that means it never gets deleted.
Yes.
Ever.
Ever.
I love this. This is so tremendous. Herald, you're such a good sport.
I appreciate it, man. This is a blast.
Every information database. Oh, so the data is the block.
Yep.
And when you tie it all together, it becomes a chain. I got goosebumps. It becomes a chain.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I can understand it barely, but I can now. And that means that I love this one. All the data is
connected.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. That's great. I never thought about the thing about the kids doing the notes together. I think that's actually great.
Oh, it's great. It's absolutely great.
So as this is something interesting. So the chain gets longer, more information is stored. It's all public, which makes it nearly impossible for anybody to cheat. And that's really what this is all about. It's about keeping everybody honest in the records and data keeping space.
Absolutely.
Because that's what everything in the future will be built on. Oh my God.
Yes.
It's giving me like moments of consciousness. This is really complicated. So let's talk about how it's being used today by musicians.
Yes.
This is great.
Yeah, no, I'm glad, man. It's interesting because you've got so many different applications today, and that's just the beginning. So we wanted to make sure that folks understood, wait, so these things probably could be working behind the scenes for us. And then where can we go there? So as we go into the rest of the book, we talk about, well, what are some other applications that you, the adult or the kid, can grow up thinking through?
I want to take a break here because we're going to talk about the applications that are going on outside in the world. We'll talk a little bit about the application I'm using in business.
Yeah.
I want to remind everybody that Herald is the author of a kid's book about blockchain. He'll be appearing at the Miami Book Fair on Sunday, November 17th at 1 p.m. in room 8301. Oh man, people got to go out and give you a hug and see that smile. And I mean, you're just such a positive person. I'm just loving the energy you're sending me. It's just so great.
I love it.
You're great, Herald. All right, we're going to be right back. And I wanted to thank, did I mention Lisa Paley? Yeah. Hi, Lisa Paley. We love you. Thank you for putting us together with Herald. So we're going to take a quick break. Then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the applications of the blockchain in today's world. And everybody's going to lose it because it touches everybody every day, almost every single minute of the day. Absolutely. Mr. Mendoza, show us Miami. I love that. That's just so wonderful. That's the highway is the blockchain down here. Well, I guess it's just really the chain because the information on it keeps changing every time. This is great. Thank you so much to Herald for really firing me up today on the blockchain. I want to thank our sponsors. This is like episode like 730 something. Mr. Mendoza puts it up there somewhere. I want to thank Warren Henry. We've been on for 14 plus years. Warren Henry's been our sponsor for 12 plus. I want to thank Larry, Warren. I was up there this weekend. I got to see Jack. I got to see Ismet, and of course, Maytal Stark, who took care of my car. She takes care of me like family because everybody that goes to Warren Henry gets treated like family. Remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and Lincoln. They're building this gorgeous new Lincoln store up at 151st and Biscayne. Down in the Keys, they sell all the great nameplates. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audi. And of course, they have their award-winning South Dade Land Rover, Range Rover store. High five and fist bump to Eric Day for all the awards they win. All the cars they sell are great cars, and they come with the Warren Henry Advantage. It's a long list of services. I used that list this weekend when I got my car serviced. I got a loaner. If I had my wheels scraped up, they would have helped me polish them up. If I had lost my keys, they would have replaced them for me. It's just a great experience. Got my loaner car, made my reservation, took them about an hour and a half to service my car. And while I was getting it serviced, I got to see my mom with a real quick little trip up to see her. They'll guarantee you're getting the best price on your new car, on your leased car. They'll give you a great value on your trade-in. They'll give you 72 hours to make sure you like your car. The list goes on and on and on. So join me, my beautiful wife, my mom, lots and lots of my clients, more every day. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Fried. I'm the founder of Sandstone Realty Advisors. We're talking about blockchain today. I'm using blockchain to help people syndicate real estate. Reach out to me, DM me, call me. If you're having problems capitalizing your transaction or recapitalizing your transaction, I can help. I'm working with a licensed broker dealer. We're going to be talking more about that next week when I interview the folks from Oasis Pro Markets, and we talk about our venture, Oasis Pro, and the future of real estate. Make sure to join me. In the meantime, I'm helping families across the country monetize their real estate. I'm helping a family office cash out one of their family members by getting a loan on a shopping center. I'm helping another high net worth investor do a reverse mortgage on their home so they get rid of their mortgage payments and have a wonderful life based on the equity in their home that they can tap. And of course, I'm also helping people creatively finance their real estate development transactions. Reach out to me, DM me. I'm here. My personal brand is I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by solving their problems and bringing them peace of mind. And remember, whenever you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Fried on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Fried or at Fried on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Fried1. Now, back to your host, Jim Fried.
We're on with my, I hope, new friend, Herald Hughes. He's tremendous. I want to thank Lisa Paley and the Miami Book Fair for bringing Herald to our show. Mr. Mendoza, push the button. There he is. Hey, Herald. Love you,
man. This is
tremendous.
I love this time. I'm enjoying this. This is a blast.
You're tremendous. It only works when the person I'm speaking with has just as much good energy. It's a bilateral thing. Oh, that's a big term for a kids show. So we're on with Herald. Herald decided to write a book about blockchain so he could help his son explain what he does for a living. I asked Herald on. I've been so excited for this because I wanted to explain blockchain to my friends because none of them get it either. So we've talked about what blockchain technology is. Now we're going to talk about some of the applications. I'm using it for real estate. We'll talk about it at the end, but let's talk about how musicians use it, Herald. I love this thing about reading the book with you. This is great.
Yeah. I mean, for musicians, I think it's interesting now that you're seeing more and more. Everyone knows what streaming is today. 20 years ago, it didn't exist. And so if you're going to say, hey, music is a piece of art, but also it's an asset and you can make money off of it. And many of our favorite artists make money off of it. Now you're seeing artists say, well, what if we can compensate you? You can be a fractional owner of a song. And
it's property.
The
term you're looking for is it's property.
Yes, an asset and property. Exactly. And so being able to use the blockchain so that your fans can fractionally own your music is really, really exciting. And we're already seeing that happen today with companies like Royal, for example.
You're tremendous.
Thank you.
I just, you're explaining it to me. Thank you so much. Okay. This is something a lot of people kind of know because I'm in Miami, so they know about NFTs.
Right.
So how are artists using this technology?
This is probably my favorite use case. If you think about it, I've got a couple of different pieces of art around here. I didn't have a good setup for it, but this morning. But normally, when you think about it, that artist gets paid that first time when they sell it originally. And so as their career gets bigger and bigger, then they become more notable. And the people who collected them early are the ones who get to profit. And so when you think about how much money they're leaving on the table, that's tough. With the blockchain, artists can actually say, every time my piece is moved, I get 5% or I get 10%.
And that's governed by what? Because
blockchain.
That's governed by something I use too. And I want to talk about this. It's governed by what?
It's governed by the smart contract.
Thank you.
All of the rules. Yes, all of the rules are set up in advance. And so if you and I were going to play a board game, we would likely set as many of the rules in advance as possible. So now all of those rules are set in advance so that regardless of what platform the transaction's made on, I still get paid as an artist and a creative. And I think that's really important that we find ways to support more of the creativity in the space today.
Now we're going to go to the next page, which is one that gives me a little bit of a pause because you talk about it being used in what I call an unregulated currency play.
Yeah.
The difference between what that is and what I'm doing is I'm working with a security token. So if you could talk about blockchain digital assets in that regard, I'd like to talk about that rather than hyping something where I don't want to say you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's really important to note that I'm really, really thankful that I was born here in the U.S. In a place where our dollar is very strong, where our economy is pretty predictable despite some of the ups and downs. There are many places in the world that don't have that same security. And so in some cases, you're actually able to use cryptocurrencies more confidently. As you talked about, Jim, stable coins or securities, you are able to use those as well. And so now you're seeing countries all across the world be able to adopt this as a form of currency that you can use to buy food, that you can pay for services. And that's where I think the opportunity for a global market exists. The second thing I think is really important is that you think about compensation as a world where more of us are collaborating in this global economy. I'm going to have more colleagues outside the United States. I'm going to have more business partners outside the United States. I'm currently working on an NFT project with friends in Canada. Well, should I get paid more or less because I live here in the United States? No. Just set the terms in USDC, and we each get to pay. USDC is a different type of cryptocurrency, and all of us are paid equally and compensated fairly.
Yeah, but we're off topic, but I'll go there just a little bit. You used a couple terms.
Sorry, I hate to do that. Go ahead.
Well, we're trying to talk to children, and you're using
you're
these terms that PhDs don't understand.
Understood.
So we're going to talk about stable coin, which a
Yep.
stable coin is a coin that's indexed tied to the US dollar, to the fiat dollar.
Right.
There's been, I would say economic experiments about can it be broken? The question is out, but this is as certifiable, I guess, as you can get. And then you use the term US digital currency, I guess is what we're talking about.
Exactly.
And so I agree with you that there are forms of digital currency that are stable, that are more predictable, that will be used in the future. I'm going to talk about that next week, also with the guys from Oasis about the use of stable coins and fiat. Well, email me. I'll send it to you, or look, it'll be on my podcast. But let's keep going because I don't want to get off the topic. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're so tremendous, Harold.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh, this is the best part. Who cares?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why does anybody care? And why are we going to use blockchain? And it goes back to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be in every facet of our lives. And so for us being able to understand that it will be as known as the cloud is, it will be as everywhere as Bluetooth is, it will be everywhere like Wi-Fi is. And the folks that understand it today are going to be the ones who are leading tomorrow.
Oh, yes, sir. So blockchain, we'll go over it. I can never figure out how to work. Blockchain is transparent.
Yep.
Oh, I like this one. Blockchain promotes trust, which is why I use it in the financial markets.
Absolutely. Especially financial markets after 2008, financial markets where you think about business dealings that could be shady. I would love to work with firms that are thinking about the blockchain because I know they're making an extra investment in trust and fairness and transparency. So that makes sense.
I'll put you together with the guys from Oasis Pro.
No please.
Okay. This is what I really like. You talked about it a little earlier. Sorry, I didn't say that. Blockchain is decentralized. And now I want to talk about that in terms of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing business with people all over the world.
Right.
And they can get involved with this on their computer. The person in Singapore pushes a button and there you go. Just like the person in Skokie. I don't know why I picked Skokie, but I did. Now, because it sounds so funny. What a funny word. Now let's dream up what the future could look like with blockchain.
Right.
Take me to the future, Harold. I'm your son. Take me.
Yeah. So one of the things that my son loves to do is he loves to think about, or he loves to play Roblox and all these different games. And kids are truly creators there. They're creating whole worlds there.
Sure.
Back when you and I were playing video games, EA Sports or whoever makes the games, they made all the money. Well, now as a creator in some of these platforms, you can now be compensated because there's proof the product you made on chain, which is on the blockchain, public record, so you can know who created something, when they created it, and how many people played it in a way to properly and fairly compensate them. So my son is super excited about being able to participate in the universe of game creation now, even as a 7-year-old.
You know, you talk about a couple of things that perhaps we don't want to touch on except to mention them, about how blockchain can help keep security in voting systems. We don't want to really touch on that and get into that debate, but it's pretty obvious. We talk about the 1.7 billion people that are unbanked, and they should have access to the universe.
Exactly.
This is the first step in action in being involved in the universe.
Yes, of course.
They can't order on Google and get it unless we have blockchain technology.
There's so many things. You couldn't use Uber. You can't use Airbnb, no DoorDash, some Uber Eats. There's so many different platforms that you need a card specifically for. And we want to think about how that impacts all of them.
I love this part. In the future, you'll think of new and amazing ways to use blockchain. We haven't even thought of the best applications yet. I mean, like gray data accumulation for AI.
Yes.
I mean, all that other stuff. Boy, am I talking over the head of my kid now. Create, make, build, discover. Oh, you are so tremendous. Every child should be focused. You are so great. Every child.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
This here, though, is the best. Why wait?
Why wait?
The future is now.
Let's do it.
So let's do it. I know you're coming to Miami. Here's the outro. Tell me a little bit about that. This is amazing. This is the
yeah. So I mean, really, I think that the biggest thing that stops a lot of us from learning things is being able to say, I don't understand and I don't know. And so we wanted to give this as the jumping off point. This book is by no means meant to be the end. We hope that people start to search blockchain plus their favorite game or blockchain plus their favorite food and be able to understand how this will be able to impact them in all kinds of different ways. So I'm excited. I'm glad. I even included a little dictionary in the back there.
Yes.
So that's really important to make sure that folks are able to keep up with the words to know. Yeah,
everything is language. Real estate. I always start at real estate is language. And the person, I want to get you in together with my friends in Vendium. They're the big data company the Invenium. You'll look them up. They're my friends. They've been on the show. You can go Google do on my search thing Invenium. Yeah. I'm going to talk again. This is a kid's book about blockchain by Herald Hughes. We read it to you today during the show. Herald is tremendous. Herald, I want to have you on everything. You could translate everything I do into child. You're tremendous.
Thank you, man. And that's honestly my superpower. And when I realized it, I said I should start talking more. And so I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share. This has been exciting. You'll love this, Jim. I actually made the first edition of these. I'm going to have to get you one of these. The first edition, I actually sold them as NFTs.
Oh, my.
So this one's going to be yours. That's why I was going to fly down to Miami and hand it to you.
I can't wait to see you. I'm going to give you a big, Miami, we call it a big hug, a big abrazo.
Oh, this way.
That's tremendous.
So
that is tremendous. Now you're going to be, I want to thank again, Lisa Paley and the Miami Book Fair. This is our book fair month where we interview a bunch of the book fair authors. You're going to be here for Sunday, November 12th. Oh, wait, Sunday, November 19th. So you're batting cleanup.
Yep.
1 o'clock. In room 8301. It's going to be tremendous. I can't wait to give you a big hug. I want to thank you so much for coming and explaining this. I got to say it this way, explaining this really complex concept and getting it into child so that I could understand.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for translating such a complex technology to child. It is going to change the world. It is changing the world. I'm using it to change the world. We'll talk more about that next week. Herald, stick with us so we can talk for a second in the green room as I kind of wrap up the show. I want to thank Herald for being here today. I want to thank the Miami Book Fair. Oh, Herald. I want to thank the Miami Book. I want to thank your son, Herald, for inspiring you to do this to help other young people.
Yeah, he'll be around here at some point.
Yeah, he gets 2 points. We should have had him on the show. Heck with you. We want to thank Lisa Paley. He can be on next time you're on when you do blockchain for business. Ooh, that's a good one. Blockchain for business people. Same thing. You just changed the front. I want to thank Herald to Miami, but there he is. Hey, how are you, young man? Oh, that's the best part of the show.
So it's time for school, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's gonna go get ready.
What do you think about your dad? How's your dad doing today?
Good.
That's all I wanted to hear. You just made my day. I want to thank. Oh God. Oh my. I want to thank Herald. I want to thank Harold's son for making my entire day. Harold, you're number 2 on my list now. Sorry. Sorry. I want to thank Lisa Paley. I want to thank the folks at the book fair again. Harold to be at the book fair Monday, November 19th at 1 p.m. in room 8301. I want to thank everybody for watching the show. We drop our live shows Wednesday at noon, just like today. So we'll be on next Wednesday at noon. We'll have Pat LaVecchia, the founder of Oasis Pro Markets. We're going to be talking about the application of blockchain technology in the real estate business. Make sure you join us. It's going to be groundbreaking. Pat's tremendous. He's a thought leader, and I'm going to help you all figure out the future based on blockchain technology. Yeah, you're the best. Remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way. Oh, I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry for sponsoring us. Remember, Warren Henry Automotive at 151st and Biscayne. They'll treat you like family, always. The best price, always the best service, always. Warren Henry, this is Jim Freed. I'll be back next week. We'll drop the show at noon on Wednesday again. Why? Because I just love doing this. Can you tell, Harold? I love doing this. Let's see. We talked about that. I want to thank our sponsors, Warren Henry and the University of Florida Center for Real Estate Studies, where they use big data to change the world there too. We'll be on noon. I said that part. My personal brand is I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by solving problems and helping bring them peace of mind. Remember, the person wants to do something, finds a way. That's you, Harold. The other finds the excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you. God bless the United States. God bless Harold and his kid. And God bless Mr. Mendoza, who I'm taking it and handing it to right now.